Hey, everybody, welcome into episode 248 of the Leaning into Leadership podcast. If you have listened to this show for any amount of time, you know that I believe leadership to be a people business. It's built on relationships, built on trust, and built on staying connected to the work that matters most. And today's conversation takes that belief to a whole new level. You see, back in January of 2025, I had the honor of keynoting the Montana Joint Principals Conference. And that's where I met someone who embodies people first leadership in every sense. Now president of NAESP, April Knight. We talked leadership, we talked about her journey, and yes, we even bonded a little over watching the Bills lose to the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. Heartbreaking for both of us, as we were certainly rooting for Josh Allen and the Bills. But more importantly, we connected on what makes school leadership really, really great. Before we get into April's incredible insights on NAESP's direction, the new NAESP AMLE partnership, the National School Leaders Conference, and the launch of the National Gold Star School Program, let's do a quick shout out and a very big thank you to our partner sponsoring today's episode, DigiCoach. Look, every great leader I know is focused on growth, their staff's growth, and of course, their students' growth. And that's exactly why I am proud to partner with DigiCoach. DigiCoach makes classroom walkthroughs simple, quick, and purposeful. You get clear, real-time data that helps you see what's working, spot trends, and turn everyday observations into meaningful coaching conversations. When feedback becomes consistent, supportive, and focused on growth, your coaching culture thrives. And so do your teachers. If you're ready to simplify your walkthroughs and refocus your time on what matters most, students and instruction, visit digicoach.com and mention that I sent you for special partner pricing. Once again, that's digicoach.com and tell them that Darrin sent you. Now, let's jump into this powerful conversation with NAESP President April Knight. All right, everybody, welcome back into the show. Yeah, I've told you this several times here on the program, for those of you who listen or watch on YouTube on a regular basis, that I really believe that leadership is a people business and that it's all about relationships. And I'm really excited to have this conversation today, and it ties directly to that. In January of 2025, I had the opportunity, the honor to keynote the Montana Joint Principals Conference. And among the people that I had the chance to meet was the, at that time, new president of NAESP, April Knight. April and I had some wonderful conversation, even sat and rooted for the Bills against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship game, and that just didn't work out for either of us, but that's okay. So I'm excited to welcome April here into the show to have a conversation about NAESP, about some of her experiences, some of the really cool things that NAESP is doing right now. I'm already talking more than I want to. So April, welcome to Leaning into Leadership.
Thank you so much, Darrin. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. So we were talking right before we hit the record button about just the amount of travel that you have been doing. Give me some of the highlights since, I know January you were in Helena, Montana, which is a beautiful place, but my goodness, it was cold when we were there.
Yes.
What are some of the highlights of this last 11 months of travel?
Well, and so actually I took office as president August 1st, and I got to be in Montana in January because the current president at that time was at another conference. So that was a very unique opportunity as president-elect. I got to be there and do that, and had never been to Montana. So, and I get to go back in January. I'm very excited about that too. I'll get to go back as president this time. But, it's been incredible. My husband is semi-retired, so fortunately is having the ability to travel with me. He's kind of my travel agent. He's kind of my chauffeur. He's kind of, all of that and more. But we've been to Pennsylvania, straight to Rhode Island. We've been in Virginia, been to the NASP office a couple times for various things. We just we just returned from Tennessee at their conference, and had been in New York twice. New York State, we were there for their state conference, and at Lake George, and I had never been there. That was just incredibly beautiful. And then went back a couple weeks later for their regional leaders conference, and that was zones 1 and 2, and that was at Hyde Park. So the experiences have been incredible, but aside from the lovely traveling and visiting all the places, it's the
Yeah.
people. It's all about the people. So
Yeah, absolutely. So let's do this just really quick. Share maybe just a little bit of your background, what has kind of led you to this place where now you are the current acting president
yeah,
of NAESP.
thank you. Yeah, definitely wasn't anything that I thought I'd ever be doing, but I began teaching 1991. My oldest was 6 weeks old at the time, and I served as a teacher for about 11 years in different capacities, first through fourth grade, and I was a curriculum facilitator. I did some time as an intern, and then had kind of run into that situation where I had a principal who didn't want to do the job, who didn't it they just weren't in it, and it broke my heart. And so at that point I had several people that encouraged me to, go into the principalship. So after 2 years of an intern program I completed, I now am looking at my 22nd year as a principal, all in elementary. I have spent my entire career in Columbus City Schools in Columbus, Ohio. We are the largest district in the state of Ohio. And the building that I'm not at now, I've been there for the past 14 years. It's an urban setting, inner city, actually about a mile and a half from the center of Columbus, where the Capitol building is. And it's truly one of the oldest areas in the city of Columbus. And so it's generational poverty. It's, um, you know, a lot of challenges and barriers that the students and families have. Uh, and I couldn't be happier to be any other place. It's truly remarkable. But along that way, I became involved with my district Administrators Association. I was president of that for about 5 years. I then went on to serve on my state board, Ohio Association of Elementary School Administrators. I was their Columbus City rep for 5 years. And at that point, I had lots of people asking me, why don't you, step forward with NAESP? And I had been a member for a while, but had an incredible opportunity starting in 2019 to be the Zone 3 director. So I was Zone 3 director, which serves Ohio, Maryland, West Virginia, Virginia, and the DC area. And that was a 3-year term. So obviously, 2019 to 2022, you've got that little time in the middle of COVID, which really limited what we were able to do in person, but we still made sure that we were meeting through Zoom, that sort of thing, because it was all about the connections. And at the end of that, I was not ready to give it up. I absolutely loved everybody in the association that I worked with, the staff, the executive director, and I really felt like I was able to kind of make a difference. And so I applied to be considered as a candidate, and was a candidate my first time, didn't win, and it was okay because one of my best buddies won. But then the following year, I applied again and was very fortunate to have been elected. So in August of 2023, I became vice president. Last year served as president-elect, and then this year, the honor of being president of NAESP. That's a long way to get someplace
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be. So,
Yeah, no kidding. That is quite a journey, and I'm sure you've learned a lot through that journey and through that process, and obviously, in those different roles within ASP, being able to connect with people from all different states, all over the United States.
mhm,
Um, what are maybe let's do this really quick. Now, I want to get into some of the cool things that are happening
mhm.
at NAESP. What would you share, or what do you share? It's probably not probably what do you share when you have the opportunity, whether it's in your home district or when you're at some of these different events with an early career school leader? That's one of my big focuses is
Yeah.
helping those early career leaders stay in the game. So
Mhm.
what are some words of advice you would give early career administrators?
So, one of the things our district has an intern program, and like I said, that's how I got into administration. And I think one of the things that's so important about that is giving them the whole picture. A lot of times people will go into education or go into administration and they feel like I know what the job is. But you have to be open to the possibility of changes in the jobs and responsibilities, because it is ever changing. And so you don't, I always tell them, don't panic, don't fret. If something happens, it'll be taken care of. It's okay, but be yourself. Don't try to be somebody that you're not, and build those relationships from the beginning. Without the relationships, you aren't going to have the trust, and you're not going to be able to move the school in the direction that you want to. I think for me, one of my big things when I came to this school I'm at currently, it's my second building I had as a principal, was that I had a breakfast over the summer and kind of saying, "Here, come meet the principal," and it was for staff, and every single staff member came, even though it was the middle of the summer. Every single staff member came, and that allowed me to begin right then and there making and building relationships with them. So they knew who I was, what my values were, what my expectations were. I asked them questions all the time. What are things that in the past you you like that were done at the school? Things that maybe needed to change in some way, or what are some things that you just think we need to stop doing and why? And that feedback I got at the very beginning of the year. It was very important to me, and I chose not to make too many changes the first year. I just needed to see who they were and how they were with the staff and the students and the families. And then at the end of the year, I did share that feedback with them again, saying, "This is what you said before I started. Now, tell me after you've had me for a year here, what do you feel now? How do you feel? What is it that I need to do differently? What do I need to stop doing? What do I need to start doing? That sort of thing." So having the opportunity to build those relationships, to get feedback, and to make sure that there is a focus on what's best for students. Those are just some of the key points that even for the 10 or 12 interns I've had in the past, those were all things that were really important to me because, when I talked about the job changing, what's expected and as responsibilities now compared to when I started really is significantly different. And it's not the kids that are different. It's not the families that are different. It's everything else. It's the curriculum. It's the policies. It's the paperwork. All of that continues to change. Um, so staying grounded in knowing the families, knowing the students, and knowing the staff is really critical to making sure that you can continue to succeed.
I think that's really important for a couple of reasons. I mean, one, obviously, as we're releasing this episode in December, one, we have new principals who they're just now getting to the holiday break in their first
Mhm.
year as an administrator. And one, yes, come up for air, breathe, take a couple days off, don't open the laptop, but then listen to what April has to share. The second thing, again, in December, we have people who are finishing intern programs, people who are
Yes.
finishing master's programs, and they're getting ready to apply for
Mhm.
those positions now. And again, those are really good words of wisdom for anybody who is an aspiring or a brand new administrator. So, April, let's move on to man. We've got three topics about NAESP that I want to
Yes.
get to. All three of them are super exciting. I'm going to start with one that you announced here recently. We were both in Indianapolis for the AMLE conference, the National Middle School Conference. Unfortunately, we crossed paths, basically you flying out right after I arrived.
Yes.
But um, you were able to announce something really exciting,
Yeah.
specific for middle level administrators at that conference. So,
Absolutely.
talk a little bit about that, kind of maybe how it came about, and
Sure.
what specifically NAESP is doing in this partnership with AMLE.
So, most people know NAESP. The name is National Association of Elementary School Principals. Um, but even though we don't have that M in there for middle level, we do support all leaders pre-K through 8. And so we've been really trying to find ways to truly validate the importance of that middle level. And that's, I've never been a middle school principal. That is not something I feel that I could do. And so that's why it's better that there are people that love it and do it well. And so we have been trying to figure out what are some different things that we can do. And last year's president, Dr. Kevin Armstrong from Nashville, Tennessee, is a middle school principal. And so it was very important to him that we start finding out, what are those things that the middle level educators and teachers and leaders need that we're not doing. And so it was in September that the CEO of AMLE and Dr. Earl Franks, the executive director of NAESP, met along with myself and Dr. Stephanie Patton, who is the chair of the board of trustees for AMLE. And we met together to just say, what can we do to support each other? And it was amazing to me that there was such an interest in partnering with NAESP. And so we worked on a few things and came up with an amazing um, MOU and got this partnership going. And I was very fortunate at the AMLE conference to get to officially make that announcement during the general session. And so it's based on this premise of focusing on pursuing joint initiatives. And we want those initiatives to enhance leadership practices. We want them to enhance professional learning opportunities for middle level educators and for pre-K 8 school leaders. So the collaboration is going to be based on 6 components that we're very, very proud of. The first is the National Aspiring Principal Academy Partnership. So we know that recruitment and retention are challenges for educators. And so we're looking to kind of develop and promote programs that are going to support aspiring principals in their professional journey. And so this project is something that we hope will be impactful to anybody that has this inkling to find out what is it about to be a principal? So we were really excited about that Aspiring Principal Academy. Um, Something else that's interesting is that NAESP has a foundation. A lot of people may not be aware of that. And our foundation has been really interested in finding ways to get involved in publishing. And so this wasn't something that we were ready to kind of jump on, take care of on ourselves. So fortunately for us, AMLE already is in the publishing business. And so we're going to be working on some co-publishing opportunities, including some shared articles, co-branded materials, and things that would be involved in both the NASP and the AMLE magazines and publications. So that's an exciting thing for us. We are offering a 1-year AMLE professional membership to eligible NASP members and a complimentary NAESP membership to eligible AMLE members, just to kind of encourage this cross-organizational engagement. And we want AMLE to see what we have to offer, and we want our members to see what AMLE has to offer. So by providing this complimentary 1-year membership, we think that it will be an opportunity for everybody to kind of see what we have. We also are really working on our conference collaboration. So we're going to be supporting each other at each other's conference, but we have been very intentional about trying to ensure that at our professional conferences, we are providing opportunities for professional learning for all level leaders. And to ensure that we're doing it right for middle level leaders, there's going to be a specific dedicated middle level strand at our NASP conference that we're going to have in July. And we're really excited about it. It's going to be brought on board by AMLE, supported by us, and we feel like it's going to be a unique and wonderful opportunity for school leaders to come across the country, have an enjoyable conference, but also have this middle level strand dedicated to what they need in order to support their learners. So it was a really exciting opportunity to get to make this announcement. And the AMLE Board of Trustees, they all unanimously said, yeah, we need to do this. We want to do it. So it's been very exciting. Lots of information is going to be coming. We are, in the process of really starting to put these gears in motion, but it's an incredible opportunity, and it's just NAESP and AMLE that are working together. So that's really nice. But we're very proud
Yeah.
of this.
Absolutely, as you should be. I think that's really, really wonderful. AMLE is an organization that I certainly have leaned into for the last few years, and been a part of their conferences for a few years. Built some really good relationships with people, right there inside of AMLE. So, and definitely an area that I have started to lean into, also specifically with those middle level administrators. I mentioned it to you. I think people know here on the show the partnership I have with Dr. Frederick Buskey and with the NCMLE, so the North Carolina Mid-Level Educators
Right.
Association, and the support we're doing for mid-level administrators specifically there in the state of North Carolina, just to provide that support, to build a cohort, and to help keep them in the game, keep them there at the middle school level, because our middle schools, all of our schools, need stability and leadership, but our middle
Absolutely.
schools more than anywhere really
Definitely.
need that stability. There's so
Yeah.
many other things happening in middle school.
Mhm.
Good, consistent leadership in middle schools
Right.
makes a huge, huge
And
difference. So congratulations on that. Go
thank
ahead.
you. We're really, really fortunate on NASP. Like I said, last year's president was and is a middle school principal. Our current vice president, Dr. Carmen Maring, is a middle school principal from Michigan. And we also have a director at large position for the middle level. And Xavier Reed is our director at large for middle level. He is a middle school principal in Minnesota. So there's very intentional interest in doing what's best for middle level leaders. And we were really excited to get feedback. And so having those two members on the board is very helpful for that as well.
Absolutely. Really, really strong partnership. I think that is really, really exciting. I can't wait to see, what happens going forward. Folks, we'll make sure and link AMLE in the
Yeah.
show notes so you can go and check them out. Of course, we're going to have NAESP linked in there as well.
Hmm.
So let's move on to let's actually talk about the conference, because you mentioned it there, the
Hmm.
conference in
Yeah.
July. Um, for the last handful of years, you've been doing the joint conference with
Hmm.
NASSP, the United Conference, now back to NAESP, working separately from NASSP for that national conference. So let's talk a little bit about that and share maybe also, well, let's just talk about the conference, and then I'll ask another
Sure.
question about it in a
Hmm.
couple of minutes.
So we are incredibly excited. We have a new branding name for the conference. It is the National School Leaders Conference, powered by NAESP. And the dates are July 13th through 15th. It is going to be in Orlando at Disney's Coronado Springs Resort. We are going to have exceptional keynotes, as we always do. We have some great specific strands for the professional development opportunities. I mentioned the middle level strand. We'll have a pre-K 3 strand. We're also going to have a strand for secondary success. And so we're bringing in some secondary education experts to kind of help guide us in providing some support for our secondary leaders that really want to, come and learn. We know that while we have elementary, we have middle, we have secondary, there are some concepts, topics, and ideas that are just across the board important. Mental health is one of those. And so we're going to be working very closely with some experts to kind of help us ensure that everybody gets what they need, has an enjoyable time. And I mean, it's in Disney. You can't go wrong there. So we're really excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I've been to, man, more conferences than I can count in Orlando, and certainly, the Disney draw
Mhm.
is real. There's no question about that. So
Yeah,
that's really exciting. Really exciting news. There may be people who are curious. Is there like an early bird registration? Are there ways that they can kind of start to check that out? And if maybe they're, I'm thinking of some elementary and middle school principals I know who are doing amazing work. Maybe they would love to come and do a breakout session. What's the process for all of that look like right now?
absolutely. So on our website at naesp.org, uh, there will be information about the upcoming conference. There will be information about how to submit proposals. We are still accepting proposals for presentations until the end of December. So I encourage them to check it out quickly and get that in there. We then have a committee that reviews all of the proposals, and we pick the absolute best. We pick what meets the needs of our members based on surveys. And so that information, I'll be one of the reviewers. We start reviewing about the end of January, and then the planning, it gets down to the nitty gritty. And we've got a lot of unique things that are going to be offered as part of this conference. And it is, like I said, it's powered by NAASP, and that was an intentional word selection that we had because what we are able to provide is just truly remarkable. So I encourage everybody to check out the website, and there will be information there, and then they also can reach out to me. And I know we'll share my contact information, so we'll get that. But please, yeah, check it out. You can't go wrong. Can't go wrong.
Absolutely. Yeah, without question. So one more thing that we have to talk about. So many cool things happening at
Yeah.
NAESP. What a cool time to be the president of NAESP. We were talking just before we hit the record button about, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of turmoil, turnover, change, whatever you want to say about the, U.S. Department of Education.
Hmm.
And among the things that came out of the U.S. Department of Education was the Blue Ribbon School Program.
Right.
And I know that NAESP has said, "Hey, we're not gonna see that thing go by the wayside. We're going to take our own version of that and
Yeah.
really build and grow on that." So please share this awesome news that you guys are leading.
We are so excited about this. October 1st, we shared information about our National Gold Star School Program. And I've got a little flyer here, and I'll share this, Darren, with you because there's a QR code on it. Um, so it's not just about recognizing schools for their academic performance. There's so many other components about what makes a great school. And so we have three particular pillars that we are looking for for schools that could be considered National Gold Star schools. And one is established culture. So having those shared values, that family engagement, the well-being of all of your community members. Another one is empowering people, which goes along with that. So collaborative teaching or distributed leadership, holistic support. And then finally, optimal systems. Do you have that effective use of the talent resources that you have, district support, and a strategic focus? So these are all key practices that reflect how effective principals are leading, and we are really wanting to recognize them. It's about those trusting, positive relationships. It's about diversity, equity, inclusion, having that high expectation, and the social and emotional development of not only your students, but families and staff as well. So this is truly exciting. We have a QR code, and you can also find this on the website. We're accepting applications through January 31st. And those applications are going to all be reviewed by a panel of our National Distinguished Principals. So we have selected National Distinguished Principals recognized by NASP over the years to create this group and recognize those schools. They are the ones that are reviewing the applications. They're going to be the ones that are make the determination about who will receive this award. There's no maximum number, and it's not something where, just Tennessee can only have two schools. If there are 50 schools from Tennessee that apply and there are 50 schools from Tennessee that are deserving of this award, then we're going to recognize 50 schools from Tennessee. So I think that's really different and unique, is that we are really working to um, make sure that who needs to be recognized is recognized. And so then around April 1st, we'll make the announcement of who is our 2026 National Gold Star Schools. And this is the first year, so this is really kind of exciting for us. Then what's going to happen is two representatives from each of those schools will receive a free registration to the conference in July, and that's when we are going to have our recognition program for all of those schools. So yes, we've got the Blue Ribbon schools that have gone away, but we definitely are excited about this National Gold Star School program that NASP has put forward. We already have like 93 applications that have gone in. So it's
That's
really,
awesome.
yeah, really exciting.
Yeah, very cool. And as I understand it, when I took a look at it, both elementary and middle school
Absolutely.
are eligible.
Mhm,
They just
mhm.
simply have to be a member of NAESP. Is that
That's
correct?
correct. That is
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
Well, there you go, folks. If you
Yeah.
fit that criteria, then get over to naesp.org
Yeah.
or hit the QR code. We'll make sure we share that with you
Mhm.
as well down in the show notes. So you have that opportunity to get your school the recognition, your community the recognition that it deserves for the work that's happening in your school. Man, so much good stuff today. April,
Yeah.
I'm so glad we finally had this opportunity. We've been talking about this for months. I'm glad we finally had the opportunity to sit down. We're at that point in the show. I'm going to ask you the same question I ask everybody here on Leaning Into Leadership. That's the name of the podcast. So,
Mhm.
April, how are you leaning into leadership right now?
Um, so I'm glad that you sent me that question ahead of time because there's so much to it, and yet it's so simple that I really, really wanted to kind of capture all of it. So, for me, leaning into leadership means to actively embody values and visions that principals, schools, and students need. Um, in my role, I don't see leadership as a title, it's more of a responsibility, and that responsibility is to elevate others. So I try to lean into it by being present, by listening to principals across the country and ensuring their voices shape our priorities. Um, for me, it's about taking ownership, creating clarity during times of change, advocating for those policies that our school leaders need in order to strengthen their schools, modeling a collaborative spirit, um, and knowing when to step forward when issues demand education, knowing when to step back when it's time to basically amplify expertise of others. So, most importantly, out of all of that, I feel like I lead by serving and championing equity, nurturing that next generation of school leaders that we need, and fostering communities where principals feel supported, feel respected, and empowered. So it's staying grounded with a purpose, having courage, and making sure that keeping student success at the center of every decision is what we do, not just as an association, but as good educators. So it's a lot.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that at all. And certainly everything you've shared on this show today are examples of how you are really leaning into leadership. So, April, people are going to want to get in touch with you or be able to follow you, all of that kind of stuff. So, how do people get in touch with April Knight?
All right. So my email address is aknight, aknight, at naesp.org. There's also a president at naesp.org email as well. Um, and the other thing is I'm not a big person on social media, but on X at a night April, you can follow me, and I try to share some of my travels and the great people that I'm meeting. And I've got some stuff to catch up on from Tennessee that I'll be posting soon because it just came from there and had a wonderful opportunity to share at their conference what we're doing. So those are just some ways to, reach out to me, not hesitate to do so. And then there's always the NASP website.
Outstanding. We'll make sure all that stuff is in the show notes. April Knight, thank you so much for joining me here on Leaning Into Leadership.
It's my pleasure. Thank you so much, Darrin.
Oh man, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate sitting down with April and hearing the incredible things that are happening at NAESP. What an incredibly exciting time it is to be both a middle school and an elementary school principal. And now it's time for a pep talk. Today on the pep talk, I want to make a commitment. So in 2018, I received this gratitude journal. For those of you watching the YouTube, you can see it, but those of you who are listening, I will just tell you I'm holding a gratitude journal. It was sent to me by my good friend and fellow Jostens Renaissance Hall of Famer, Sarah Cowie. I have not touched this gratitude journal, and it's something that I've been meaning to do. Well, here we are nearly 8 years later, because this was very early in 2018 when she sent this to me. And I am making a commitment to write in my gratitude journal every day for the rest of this calendar year. I'm hoping that that is going to lead to a habit. I hope that it is going to lead to me being just that much more mindful, focused on gratitude, and really at this time of year, we're right. We just finished up Thanksgiving. It's easy to talk about being grateful for one day on Thanksgiving, but then of course the holidays take over, and you get kind of pulled in lots of other directions. So for me, I am making a commitment to myself and to you, my listeners. And so at the end of December, I want to make sure and loop back to you and let you know how this has gone. But I am making a commitment that I am going to write in my gratitude journal every single day from now until at least the end of 2025. My hope is that it will continue beyond then. Hopefully that's going to create a habit that will last and have staying power. So my challenge for you this week is just simply this. Find something that you've been meaning to do, make a commitment, and just simply say, hey, I can do that through the end of the calendar year, this particular calendar year that we're in. Hopefully, like me, that might create a habit. Hey, that's what I've got for you this week, folks. Make sure you get down in the show notes, check out everything with April Knight and NAESP. As always, rate, review, subscribe. Please, those things help so very much, driving the analytics and driving the algorithms that put this podcast in front of other people so they can lean into leadership as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Get out there. Have a Road to Awesome week.